Just realized this whole time that my microphone was muted. I need like a... What's that? I need like a checklist before I start a stream. Because I always forget, like, and then I do like full stream and talking to you guys. And, like, nobody can hear me except myself. Which there's not that many people that follow the stream yet, so in any case I'm talking to myself. But at least for anybody that comes by later and watches the video, it'd be good if you could hear me. But in any case, I'm still kind of working on it, so if you watch a video or you're in the live stream and can't, like, hear me talking or something, then leave a comment. There we go. I'm just gonna keep, like, gathering stuff till I'm encumbered. Can I get this one without falling off? Oh, I can. I got skills. Well, so much for skills. When I start harvesting these areas, like the parasaurs, it's just gonna look like land clearing. I mean, they just like gobble it up so fast. And oh, I thought the shadow on that tree over there was a animal. Apparently I picked up a rock. Watching that itchy over there. There's a drop. Let's go see. My dude's a little bit heavy already, so he's kind of running slow. Let's speed it up. This wears down the stamina pretty quick, but might as well get whatever is here, whatever is over here. Oh, and all these, some of the trees have grown back over here. What did I get? What kind of saddle was that? Be great if Yomia. You hear the sound? It sounds like Triceratops? That's the other. That's the other parasaur. There's something over here too. Oh. Ooh. You look mean. Are you mean? Yeah, you look kind of mean. What are you? Moss chops? Okay. Do I have enough on me make this other parasaur. I have hide on me. I need some stone and hatch. I said it again. Thatch. So, here's one. Where's that dude? Where is he? There? Okay. And I need some thatch. I need a tree. Not that tree. Guess I'll take one of these. I'll take one of the little ones. That's all I needed. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh, okay, good. So now, there's my parasaur. I see a dodo, a triceratops. Oh, what are you doing over here, buddy? Let's make sure you know to follow me. And I don't see any Dilos. See that seal thing? Oh, I didn't mean for all you guys to come down here, but that's alright. Okay, so let's get this equipped. And I do not want to get the wrong animal. Okay. So now we're just gonna take this dude down. Ah. Super. Fortunately, I have lots of berries. So what I'm gonna do today is actually look on Dododex for the parasaur, and he likes mecha berries, or any berries really. So like takes alright, so he's got 1,500 food. And alright, I have to learn how to use this thing. Oh, now I see it. Okay, current food value is 1,500. And I mean that's the max. And it's at 1298. And start. Oh, it's going down fast. So let's say 1270 start. in about 12 minutes. Must eat 3,200 food to be tamed. So, the timer is saying in 12, basically 12 and a quarter minutes, that's what I'm going to want to feed him. If I have to, I'll give more narc berries to keep the torpidity up. So, let's see, 102. So, like, definitely gonna need some putting narc berries in there. So, because I think he's gonna come up. Like, let's make sure I'm narking right. That's Priscilla. Can you guys, like, just come over here for a minute? Because really kind of in the way. Good. You guys all stand guard. Get your tails out of the way. Okay. So, food. Still about 10 minutes. To starve tame it. It hasn't eaten any of the narco berries yet. I might have to dart it again if it's not gonna eat the narco berries. Eating any of the narco berries. Alright. Just need to make sure it stays down. Yep, that popped the torpidity up. Let's put this down so I don't accidentally shoot it in anything. once I hit this mark on Dododex with the timer, just checking that it's keeping track, then I'll load up these muto berries and some other berries. Alright, so it's tamed, and actually put it on neutral, and so what you eating there, buddy? I'm thinking of a name. Ow. Peter. Okay. So, put this away so I don't shoot anybody. Alright, now I gotta get this herd back up on the hill. All in range. Okay, so they can all eat there. And let's pet the rest of this food. Come on. While I'm here, I'm gonna drop the rest of this inside. Oh. So like all this fiber. Hide, I'll take downstairs. Oh, I'm at 61. I just have to kill something small now. And then I can make... Oops. What are you doing, dude? Then I can make the forge. Can't make any more narco paste yet. Eventually I'm gonna have to make some more arrows. No reason to keep running. So let me check storage volume here. 15 and 60. And where's Peter? Peter, you're in the back. Come here, dude. I want to just grab... Thank you for that. I'm gonna grab all these berries. Because since they're all by this trough, they can all eat from it. Instead of just one of them. And actually I think one of you guys has... You have some meat. And I'm gonna let you keep the meat. But let's get these berries back in the trough. Yeah, I know you guys like me. And I'm gonna take one of your meat and let's give it to Peter. Just so he gets a little bit. Get the rest of this stuff in here. Not bothering with fire and stuff. I've only got like 20 minutes more that I can play. If I see some little creature running around though, I'm so close to having the hide. Like I will take out a little Dilo. You know what? There's a wild dodo down there. I'm sorry, Dodo, but you're between me and a furnace? Or why do I keep calling it a furnace? A forge? Ew. I kind of think this dude is mean and probably could take me. But he looks also like he's stuck. shoot that one. Where'd he go? Get out of the way. Ah. Swim, dude. What's my deal? Alright, where'd it go? Is this it? No, that's a different one. So it just disappears in the water? Alright, let me get back inside before it's too dark. Thought I was gonna be able to just kill it and take its hide, and instead I broke all my tools, including my torch, and it's about to be very dark. Alright, there's a fire over here. Hopefully it's got stuff on it. Okay, at least I can see. So, what do I need to fix this? Let's just grab a bunch of stone, thatch, wood. Didn't need this blueprint. Alright, put the rest of this back. Okay, so now I know yeah, all you guys just stay right there. Now I know that those things are very hard to kill, and I didn't even pay attention to what it was called. So, like, I learned about Dododex, and you can, like, look up what it takes to kill an animal. but I mean, I can try to find it by the picture. It just looks like a seal. And apparently they can run and swim away. And I don't know what, there was that status of my dude. I think he was just tired. Because he just, like, stopped swimming and was floating in the water. That's how I lost the seal. But, like, I put 7 narco areas in him. Used up all my narco areas, so I'm gonna have to make some more. I should have a pretty good supply of narco. Don't have anything this torch to burn, but mostly I just want to fill up this feeding trough for these guys, so I know they'll be okay today while I'm gone. kind of... Oh, yeah, I see he's heavy. Alright, let's get back up to the feeding trough. And this should keep these guys pretty well fed. Okay. So that's 37 and 60 in storage. And all these guys are close enough. So sometime I want to figure out how wide the range is, so I can take one of these guys out and just see when the little food trough icon disappears. And then I think it'd be a good idea to build a pen. That's not right. Alright, let's grab some of this wood. Or charcoal. Yep. So I can't really make more narc. I need more. I need some meat to spoil. Yeah. Wanted to put this in here. I'll run the rest of this upstairs. Do I have any spoiled meat? No. And I think this storage is still full. Does it tell me that when I'm looking out here? It does, doesn't it? 45 and 45. How's my food situation? And nothing cooking over here. So maybe I need to grab some berries. Actually, which one of you has 2 meat still? Oh look, you have some spoiled meat. I don't think they're really eating the meat. So I'm just gonna take this. If you guys are just gonna let it spoil, I mean... But the good news is... Yeah, they're not eating it at all. Good thing is that, come on. That means I can make some narc paste. And I can cook these 2. Just grab this stuff because I know I'll go downstairs again. Take this meat, spoiled meat down here. Whoops. Let's grab this. I have 9. Yep, now I can make some more. I'll make as much as possible. And, I've got a pretty good amount of narcotic. what I need to make are some narc arrows. And for that, I need one narcotic, one stone arrow. So I kind of... Wait, where's the stone? Yeah. So if I want to have like probably 20 arrows, it's pretty good. Wait, where's our saddle? Right, yeah, I need 80. Okay, so I need the fiber, I need flint, lots of fiber, not lots, but let me just grab one of these flints, run upstairs up here, where all this stuff is, grab a batch, come on. Oh, my controller. Did my controller just die? Can I drag the whole thing? Thank you. I'm only gonna play a few more minutes, so I'm gonna just finish with the mouse. Fiber. Now, actually, it's kind of faster with the mouse. Wait, didn't I grab batch? No. So, yeah, let's do 28. And then, I need to go back downstairs. And get the narc. Come on. Uh, 13 of that. So I should be able to make 13 of these. Yep. And then when I get some more meat, just grab some of this stuff. As long as it doesn't say I'm encumbered, I can move this into the other locker. That's enough. Let's just put this in here. I forget why I need charcoal. It's definitely used in some recipe. I got 16 stone, 13 narcotic. That's alright. So actually, since the dinos outside are taken care of, I'm just gonna drop this stuff in here. I'll keep it handy for making some more arrows. And let's check my food. That's gonna be upstairs on this fire. And dude, really? Let's grab this and then we can put fire. And I'm just gonna get my guy back on bed for now. I think it's 3. Yep. And there we go. Ah, come on. Dude. You gotta be. How? How the heck is he supposed to lay down? As soon as I let up off the E key, he stands back up. First of all, can you? Yeah. Okay. That was kind of stupid. I'll put some batteries in the controller for the next time. And for now, that's it.